And speaking of the devil, we are now fighting a boss who also has demon fetus babies. Sweet. Hey up, Toasty here from Games with Toasty, and today we are back playing Gunlord X, and today is a monumental day. Monumentous, one of the two, because this is the season finale, or the end of our entire Let's Play of Gunlord X. Today is the actual last episode. So this is exciting times for all. This is stage 9 and the last episode. And we start doing Electric Climb, which sounds like something in a Mega Man game. And we are being forced along on a conveyor belt. So let's get going. Now, we may have to do this a couple times because I imagine, based on the level of nonsense in the last stage, that this stage is going to be equally as difficult. And let's be honest, equally as bullshit. I mean, yep, already they're spawning enemies that we can't necessarily see, and we're finding it hard to dodge, but we got through there. Dropping enemies from the skies that we, again, can't really see. We can barely see them if we look up. That's only barely. Oh, hello. There we go. I mean, somehow we've taken no damage here. And I'm hoping that there's not too much climbing. I feel like stages that are built around, especially 2D games like this, I think sometimes, especially, okay, that's wrong. Me making the generalization that climbing like this in games is a bit boring or annoying is pretty wrong. What I mean to say, Gunlord specifically doing this is annoying and boring, because Gunlord has the tendency of being rather bullshit. So, I mean, that jump there was in particular rather shitty. But yeah, the Gunlord mechanics and the way that the game's been designed, I feel like it's not going to be a fun time. Because they like to hide things like threats out of sight, ambush you with hazards that you can't see, and if you've watched the series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, Gunlord being Gunlord. You know, so I imagine this is not going to be the smoothest of runs, but we will give it a go nonetheless. I ain't no quitter, and we are going to beat this game whether it kills Gunlord 55. Gunlord. Actually, yeah, okay. Whether it kills Gordian Gaiden the Gunlord a trillion times, we are going to get through this one way or a bloody another. I mean, they're bringing out our most hated, well, second most hated enemy in the game, which is the goddamn ceiling turrets, and they're bringing them out in mass too. You know, we managed to pay attention to the feet there, so I managed to see that there were some guys about to drop on our heads and kill them. Come on. I mean, thankfully we can shoot through these platforms, because in the last stage I noticed a couple of platforms we couldn't shoot through with our laser, which was particularly annoying because that went against everything the game had taught us from what I can remember prior to that, which was that you can shoot, your laser can shoot through platforms. So that was especially frustrating. I will grab you. We'll fight those guys. Okay, we're doing okay. We've not died yet, and we've only taken like the bare minimum of damage. I think we've done pretty well for avoiding damage, taking things slowly. I think we might have learned from the horrors of Stage 8 and become better gunloaders. Maybe not. We managed to fudge that and not take damage. I think one of this stage, okay, visually this stage is quite bland, you know. It has atmosphere with the blue fog and the cool background stuff, but compared to the last stage, I think it's pretty undeniable that this stage is quite bland. And I think that is to the game's credit, because last time in Stage 8, the level was way too busy for its own good, and it was difficult to see what was going on. And this is much more visually fair, I think I should say. Let's kill this guy. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we're not getting the big diamonds. I mean, having some big diamonds would have definitely, if we managed to get like some extra continues during our time on Gunlord, that would be nice. But getting those continues is such a tedious thing to do, especially when you're trying to obviously record and not spend 40 minutes going in blind trying to find them. And then following a guide as well, you know, it just seems a bit, you know, a bit disingenuous, you know. I don't know, it just feels a bit, doesn't feel right. Piss off. Pretty freaking wall turrets everywhere. Goddamn lime shooting dickface. Oh, he's a flying one too, so he's got more health. Dodge the lime. Use the laser. Dodge. Okay, so their limes can't travel through that. Okay. The rest of we can stand here and he probably can't hurt at all. Good to know. Oh shit. That was definitely a good use of a bomb. Which is a thing we still haven't been using all too often in our playthrough. I mean, we've been using them, but we often waste our stockpile, you know. We should either use all of our bombs before death, no matter how few we have, just so we're maximizing our resource usage at all times. That would make the most sense, you know. Shield, that's nice. Oh, we found a use. We found a use for our roll. It bypasses the conveyor belts. Hey. Learning. More shields. Sweet. Okay, well, I thought this level was going to be worse than it was going to be, just because it was all about climbing upwards and that was it. Felt a bit like, you know, especially with Gunlord's annoying mechanics to be really a bit shit. Actually, I'm really enjoying this level. There's a very nice momentum to it. And yeah, there's a ton of those wall turrets that are especially annoying, and those things there, which are also very annoying. But it's nowhere near to the level of Stage 8, and it feels kind of zen, you know? Oops. We've retained some sort of like basic mastery of the mechanics, and we're using them to, like, you know, to shoot bullets out the sky and kill hordes of enemies and stuff. Then get headshot by a wall guy. So yeah, the those little turrets are a pain in the ass. I'm not a big fan of these guys. I hate those guys. Those guys here that I'm shooting now. The big ass wall mounted laser firers. They are the most hated enemies in this game. I cannot stand them. They are an abomination. Come on. Boop. And okay, I imagine there's not a wrong way to... There'll be a wrong way, but like... By wrong way, I mean like, there'll always be something worth finding, no matter what direction we'll go, you know what I mean? How we didn't die there? Yes, that's the bomb moment. Shit. Okay, not a fan, not a fan. Okay, things are getting to the not a fan territory now, which is forcing us to climb on platforms, climb on ladders, when we have limited ways of defending ourselves. And that guy, putting those guys there, you know, the bomb dudes, the rocket guys who are firing directly down, that is bullshit and is not something I appreciate. Because putting them on, putting them above platforms where you can't defend yourself effectively, and you also can't look up effectively to see them, you know, is again just not a good time. Not a good time. Why our laser can't go through there, but our main shot can? It's confusing. What are you? Oh! That's it. Well, that was abrupt. That was very abrupt. I imagine there's another boss. I thought this was the last stage. Maybe not. Okay. When I looked up the number of stages in Gunlord, it said there was only 9. But this is stage 10, so clearly that Google search was incorrect. But it is a nice change of gameplay. It is a very nice change of gameplay. And, you know, I like the jetpack. It reminds me of the stage 2 stage, where we were flying around and in our ship. And I especially like, okay, this is the nerd nod, is that these look tiny when you're in your ship. You know, they've scaled them up because you're like your regular size. So those massive mechs were tiny last time we saw them for a reason. I do like that. That's just the nerd and it's coming out. That's a shame. I'm digging this. This is a nice change of pace. I like it a lot. Need to try and stay alive. Oh, we can't shoot backwards. Can't shoot up though. Or down. We turn on the evil fetus monsters as well, which is pretty cool because they are. We've already seen them once, but they were one of the cooler enemies before so far. In terms of visual design, because who doesn't like killing giant evil demon fetuses? Surprisingly clunky controlling this because you can't. Yeah, it's unusual. Oh, you can shoot in all directions. If you use the right stick, you can. Interesting. We're learning things here. Don't go get the bomb. Just keep moving. That was definitely a bomb moment there. Kill the giant skull platforms. The music's pretty slapping too. I quite like the music on the stage. Took it there, that was a bit of a shame. Hopefully we can get some life back. Now, I imagine we're approaching the end of the stage. It's been going on for a little while now, and these stages have traditionally been quite short. There's also the big diamonds in this stage, which is unusual because the second stage had them still. I wonder where the hitbox is on this guy. If it's the whole character model, or if it's just like a small part of his actual, like a small part of his model is actually the true hitbox. Don't want to test it out. I've got no bombs. Okay. Yeah, we'll just continue. Providing we don't have to like restart the whole stage again on death or next continue, that'd be nice. Because this stage is it was kind of cool to begin with, but it's a bit long, you know, and there's not much in terms of interesting things going on. And speaking of the devil, we are now fighting a boss who also has demon fetus babies. Sweet. I mean, this game likes to have its bosses defended by, you know, children. It's kind of, you know, amazing in its own way. As long as we keep them in check, you know, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. He's nearly dead and we're at full health. We're doing okay. That's the part where it gets a bit tricky. Come on. Guardian is down. So I'm guessing he's the guardian of the last boss, right? Or the last stage? Because surely we are now on the last stage. I mean, I did a big old fancy intro saying this was the finale, and we are still not there. So we'll go on to stage 11 and hope for the best, Final fight. Okay, so this must be the final stage. And it looks to be like an arena. Which is, you know, I am totally down for. Okay, so the one on the left drops health, and the one on the right drops bombs. And that looks to be the master from the Doom 2 looking awesome intro scene. Just keep things going, you know? Keep things going. Doing okay. Come. I've got one more bomb to go. I'm hoping it's a one form last boss. I don't want to fight another form. No, come on, so close. The master is down! Haha, we did it! Stage 11 complete. Hey, stage 10 complete. Okay, we've just got a trophy saying stage 10 complete, but we've just gotten stage 11's results. Don't know what's going on there, but that looked to be the last boss, because we were killing the master. Is it the end though? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Finally, Gordian crushed the skull of the master. It is a sweet victory. It is indeed. Suddenly, a distress signal is sent. It is from the Z-42 warp star of his wife Vanessa. Gordian finds her in the swamplands and carries her to his ship. Her clothes torn and ragged. The lovely couple once again mastered their adventure. A bit of a one-sided adventure there, wasn't it? And that's it. That is the end of Gunlord. What a abrupt ending that was. The last two stages, in fact, okay, yeah, this whole episode has been significantly easier than stage 8. Stage 8 was an absolute nightmare, but, you know, stage 9, 10, 11, they were pretty fun. They were fun stages, a lot of variety, and the master was a fun boss to kill, even though it was a little bit on the easy side. I was expecting a second form. I didn't want a second form. These are two different things. I was expecting a second form. I didn't want a second form. And I'm glad there was no second form, because we killed him and it's fine. I am surprised that the master turned out to not be Vanessa. I was convinced that it was going to be this big twist that the master was actually Vanessa. But no, it wasn't. It was just a random face. Sweet. And thank you for playing. You have unlocked speedrun mode. And we will not be playing that, although I might play it in my spare time. I think we are going to shelve Gunlord X for now and move on to greener pastures. Overall, Gunlord X has been a pretty fun game. It has its highs, it's had its lows. It certainly has its variety. The game didn't like to have us playing too many of the same style stages back to back. It would have been nice to see the stage 2 shmup return, like properly, once more, but it didn't, which is a shame. But all the different little tweaks to the formula were quite nice. And yeah, it's a pretty short game. It took a couple of hours to get through. You know, it was very fun. The lows were pretty low, but the highs were pretty high. I would give this game a pretty solid 7. You know, I think it's a 7. And if you are really into Turican or really into this classic style thing, a classic style action platformer, then you could definitely maybe push this to an 8. But for me, this is a really solid 7 and definitely worth checking out. I got this for £1 on sale, and for £1, this is getting me significantly more joy than most things you can buy for £1. So yeah, definitely worth considering on sale, and it's not even that expensive off sale. Anyway guys, thanks for tuning in. This has been Gunlord X, and I've been Toasty. Feel free to slap that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to be notified for when the next episode of the new series starts. Who knows what it's going to be, but it's going to be something a little bit different, I think. Also, hit that like button. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And finally, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you want me to play next. Until then, thanks for watching. Happy gaming.